So welcome everybody, and thank you for joining us on this webinar on studying engineering at FH Upper Austria. We appreciate you being here. It will be a short information from our side regarding our university and obviously the School of Engineering here. We will tell you about the programs that you can study with us. I will show you or tell you what the admission process is like, what you need to do in order actually to come here and study with us. We will then later discuss practical aspects that are of interest to all the students, like housing, visa, finance, and so on. And then we will briefly discuss, or not briefly, actually, we'll discuss student life, and you will have a chance to answer or get answers from our students and graduates who are here with me today. So actually, I brought here students and graduates who will help out with the questions and also introduce their programs from their point of view. And I'm very happy that they're here. So Esteban from Colombia, studying Automotive, Mechatronics, and Management. And Maria from Mexico, studying Sustainable Energy Systems. Christoph, who is actually a graduate of our School of Engineering, and now lecturer and PhD researcher in the Electrical Engineering program. And Christiana, also graduate and PhD researcher in the IPM Emission and Product Management program. So that's the brief agenda for today. Let's maybe look at why Upper Austria would be of interest to you. And I hope you see the slides because I actually don't. Yes, now I can. So why Upper Austria? I'm sure all of you have already heard of Upper Austria in your lives. It's a very industrial region in Austria, which is full of high-tech companies, meaning that also there is a lot of job opportunities for you during your study, also after you graduate. We have a very close cooperation with industry, and most importantly, it's safe and has very low crime rate. Another aspect that is important about Upper Austria is that it's very conveniently located. Our students like that a lot. You can actually travel everywhere in Europe within a couple of hours, but we'll discuss that during student life later on, I guess. So what can we say about the University of Upper Austria, or University of Applied Sciences Upper Austria? We do have 4 locations in 4 different schools that are separated by the topics. In total, we have around 6,000 students at the 4 campuses. 14 of those are international students from different countries. All in all, we offer almost 70 bachelor's and master's programs. All of the programs are internationally recognized, and they follow the Bologna system, the ECTS system. We also have 9 programs that are completely taught in English, and our University of Applied Sciences is actually the leading one in Upper Austria in terms of research. So as I told you, we have 4 campuses. You can see where they are located in Upper Austria. Today, we will focus obviously on the School of Engineering, which is located at the Wels campus. So you can see that the School of Engineering has a lot of bachelor's and a lot of master's programs. We have approximately 2,000 students here on campus, and 20% of those are international from 17 different countries, which is actually quite nice atmosphere on campus. We have approximately 85 to 90 full-time professors who are here, who serve as our students, who help out with teaching and do a lot of research, obviously. We have a lot of small classes, which I will tell you about briefly in a second. You can see the photo actually that was posted at our welcome week, or taken at the welcome week that we host every year before the new international students start studying with us. And I think in general, it's a very nice campus, which is conveniently located in the city center of the city of Wels. The city of Wels is approximately 60,000 inhabitants, which is not huge, but it provides everything that is necessary for student life. You can actually walk everywhere. It's a very safe environment, and it's, again, you can travel everywhere within a couple of hours. So what is special about our campus, and why would you choose the School of Engineering? In general, and you will see this briefly later on when we show you the room in which we are located. We have state-of-the-art laboratories and facilities here on campus. Actually, behind us, I don't know if you can see this behind the window or outside. We're just building a new campus facility, a new campus building with a lot of laboratories, and I think it will be inaugurated in 2-3 months, something like this. So there will be even more laboratories coming. But the most important thing is at our university, in general, you have a fixed study length. So you do not extend your studies until unknown. but you actually have a 6-semester bachelor's program and a 4-semester master's program, and if you follow the plan, this is the time in which you graduate. Also, what is important to mention here, especially at the School of Engineering, is that we have a very big focus on industry cooperation. As I mentioned before, Upper Austria is a very industrialized region, and there's a lot of companies around that we work with in research, but also for student projects. And this is interesting for you because actually, if you study with us already during your bachelor's, you have the chance to really work with real companies on real projects and on real problems, actually. You can use them for your group projects, but you can also use them for your bachelor internship, which is mandatory, and then also for your master thesis, which you can do with companies around. Actually, companies are also very much involved in our teaching because they send experts in to teach a class or two per semester, which makes sure that also the knowledge is state of the art and has the practice orientation, which is very important to us. I think I mentioned the most important things. Obviously, we do offer language courses at our campus to support you if you want to study German. There is support structures to the buddy system. There's also student ambassadors who are very active at this campus and who will be happy to answer your questions if you have any. And in general, it's a very, as I said, international campus. What do we offer in terms of study programs, you will ask? So we do have 29 different study programs on campus, which is a lot, but basically you can structure them into 3 main clusters. So if you look at the slide, you can see that there's a lot of engineering and technology programs, such as automation or civil or electrical engineering. There's another cluster that focuses on engineering management. And then there's the third cluster that deals with energy and the environment and everything that has to do with those areas. In general, we focus on interdisciplinary in all our programs. We try to foster interdisciplinary knowledge because in general, all our graduates work in multidisciplinary teams after they graduate. So it's very important already during their studies to be working with engineers from other disciplines. This is a big focus here. So you see that there's a few UK JACs there, or Union JACs there. Those are the programs that are actually taught in English, and you will hear about them in a minute. You see that most of our programs are actually taught in German, but we do welcome international students in all of those programs. If you want to study in German with us, you will have to have a B2 level of German language to be able to study with us. And then in this webinar, we thought we'd focus on the English speaking or the English taught programs a little more. So that's what our students will introduce now for you.
Okay, so Automotive, Mechatronics and Management. My name is Esteban Gámez. I'm from Colombia. I'm in the first year of the master's program. Well, I think we're going to focus especially on the teaching areas. As you can see in the presentation, there are a few points there. I will go a little bit more in each one of them. Vehicle engineering and mechatronics. Well, I think the name is pretty much self-explanatory, although we specialize a lot in the automotive IT systems and all the architecture of those systems that vehicles have right now, and all the tendencies that they are going through the industry. Yes, specifically that. It also goes with vehicle systems and informatics. We also have some other part which learn how to program many of the control systems for vehicles right now. We learn not also like specifically for vehicles, but also a little bit more general, and how this can be, how all these systems can be applied into the industry. So you have a broader view of what you can learn. Management and controlling. This will be especially focused on project management and market-oriented management. Sorry, which it will give you a broader view of how an engineer can be right now as a manager also in the industry, which I think is really important because it's not only about the techniques, technical stuff that you're going to learn, but also how to apply that in a company, how to lead a company or lead projects. So yeah, I think it's something that gets really well along with the program. And social skills also. We have some classes that are called like intercultural communication, negotiation, and basically, if you see the people, for example, in my promotion, we are 18 people from, I believe, 15 different countries. So you always have these challenges and opportunities actually to learn a lot about how to communicate with all these different people from all these different countries. So you're not only learning about how to be a better engineer and how to be a better manager, but also how to be a better person in the professional environment. So these classes that are focused on social skills, like it said there, uh, help you on how to deal with all those situations and how to make the most out of it. Yes, I think that will be it for my part.
Perfect, thank you. What's your favorite class so far?
So far, it's a good question. I'm more, sorry. I would say project management was one of my favorites, and also from the management part and from the automotive part, automotive quality management. I think the teachers were really, really great. That's something really important too. The professors, program are really experienced on the field of automotive, so they have all these experiences from all the major companies. They have worked many years there, so it brings a lot of new things to a classroom that it's not like from the workbook from the textbook, sorry, that you see what you are learning, but also experiences from the real world, real fail cases, real success cases from all these companies that every day we see in the roads. So that's really, really important and valuable for me, especially.
Okay, thank you. Well, that was it briefly about the AMM program. Let's move on to the other engineering and management program, innovation and product management. Tatiana?
Yeah, so innovation and product management is a master program for those people who want to have a management position in either R&D department, or people who want to be responsible for managing innovation and design in a company, or people who want to be part of like product management teams. And yeah, so we have a very the skills that we learned are very wide, so you kind of have you can pick a focus that you're more interested in. So the whole program is based on 3 big pillars. So the first one is management, where we basically learn from how to come up with ideas to how to develop them, how to select the best one, how to position yourself in the market, how to know what's your competitive advantage in comparison to your competitors, and up to how to develop the product and how to launch it successfully, how to market it. So there are a range of courses that support like this whole big process from idea to successfully making money with your product or service. So we learn for product management, marketing, project management, all the strategic courses and so on. Then all of our students get kind of basic information on, or basic courses in engineering and design, so material sciences, what materials are there, what technologies are currently trendy, and so on. And then we can choose from 2 specializations. The first one is development process engineering. So basically, when you do this specialization, at the end of it, you are a person who can manage and monitor and plan for R&D department processes, how to organize information, how to do controlling for R&D projects, how to kind of make sure that you can simultaneously work on different projects and so on, and how to use like newest technologies for your product development. And the second big specialization is design. So those are the people who then at the end of 4 semesters can come up with design concepts or concepts for products, taking into account like aesthetics of it, but also like sustainability issues and feasibility issues and so on. So, and then there are a lot of courses around that, starting from a computer-aided design to how to build prototypes with different materials and so on. And then same as in other or in all course programs here, we again also have like social intercultural skill courses where we learn negotiation as part of IPM, intercultural management, because we also have a lot of students from different countries, and so it's fun to see how to work together with like cultures that clash. So this is also again big part of our curriculum. And I think what makes IPM special is that we always have students who have engineering background, then half of us are usually people with a management background. So we already speak different languages, and the goal of the whole course is like to speak each other's language and try to understand how managers think, and then try to understand how engineers think, so that we can switch positions and work better together. And as Camille already mentioned, we have a lot of company projects, and this is also a very big part of IPM, especially in design specialization. We do a lot of design projects with companies where we develop different services and products and so on, concepts for them.
Thank you. Do you have a specific project now when you think back during your studies that kind of really struck a chord with you, that really left an impression?
I was doing the engineering specialization, so that was actually less project-oriented than the design specialization. But colleagues of us were working on the future of flying, and that was really cool to see how they're working on like what's going to be the future of flying in 20 or 30 years from now.
Okay, thank you. Actually, what we didn't show you until now is the room in which we are in, and it's actually a pity because this is a room that's related to the IPM project or a program, and it's called a lab, but it's actually a laboratory and also a brainstorming room for product development and product innovation, actually. Also ideation, idea generation. So you can see that there's a lot of fancy equipment around, and actually this is being used on a day-to-day basis. Students work in it in different projects. So this is actually quite a nice piece of our campus. This room will actually be in our new campus building that, as I told you, is just being finalized. Will be incorporated into a bigger type of makerspace facility laboratory for students, which we're very much looking forward to. This will be definitely a fancy and exciting new development on campus starting from this fall. Okay, thank you for the engineering management program introductions. We would switch now to the engineering programs that we have, and I would ask Christoph to talk about the electrical engineering bachelor's and master's programs.
Grüß euch, good afternoon. Typical Austrian way to start an introduction of himself. So my name is Christoph. I graduated 3 years ago, and now I'm a part of the EE member team. EE stands for electrical engineering, which is just a half truth. It's better to say electrical energy engineering. So a main focus is about the energy systems, how will it change in the next 20 to 25 years. There are a lot of things going on. It's also a fully taught English study program with a lot of cultural aspects. And why this topic is in English, it's a really hard, interesting engineering topic, and we teach it in English. And someone would say, okay, are they crazy? Yeah, we are crazy, but the energy problem in the next 20 years cannot be solved by Austrians. So that's why we need you guys and ladies. We have to solve it over the whole world. And as we heard already today that we have troubles with the same language, we have to figure out how to speak on the same level. And that's why we said, okay, English is one part, and the second one is the engineering language. And now we try to put things together, but more about it I will tell later when we introduce the whole study programs itself. So that's all at the beginning. Okay.
Do you want to mention something about your really cool facility, the one and only high voltage lab?
So we have a new high voltage lab. It's a European funded project by 2.2 billion euros. So you see our R&D is gaining a lot of money. The overall R&D money is around 20 billion, so quite a lot. We had 2.2, we built a whole new lab, a high voltage lab, where we can make arcs with lightning parts with 1 megavolt, working with 200,000 volts. So if we're talking about voltage, we start with 1,000 volts and going up to 1 million. That's the world in our study program.
Okay, thank you. You can actually check out those videos on our Facebook site, on our FH Upper Austria Facebook site. We just posted, briefly before Christmas, we posted the light arc video, I think.
The Tesla coil, yeah.
Quite fun, yeah. So make sure to check that out. Well, thank you about electrical engineering. Move over to sustainable energy systems, Maria.
Hi, I'm Maria. I'm in the first semester of the Master in Sustainable Energy Systems. And well, the main focus of these master studies is to find alternative ways to generate electricity other than fossil fuels. Just like Christoph mentioned, there's a big topic right now with the consumption of electricity around the world, and we are trying to find ways to go away from the fossil fuels, more efficiency, and how the markets are working around the world. So in this master, we don't only cover the engineering side, we also cover the financing of the projects, the management, also how to move in the international part of the energy markets, and also how to implement new projects without affecting the environment. So for this, we have environmental indicators classes, we make simulations, laboratories, and we work also in real life projects. So as you can see in the picture, it's a very mixed background. So we come many from different ages, different work experience, and different countries. So this kind of make all these new movement of where the electricity markets are going, and we give the feedback between each other. And yeah, by the end of the master, we were supposed to be able to develop a project from the beginning. So we can calculate and we can design by solar panels, windmills, and all this type of electricity. And yeah, we also can get a little bit of electrical engineering and high performance buildings. And yeah, that's basically most of it.
Okay, thank you. Do you have any like favorite content so far? Are you more the wind girl or more the solar girl?
Well, I like, we have one class so far about renewable energy resources, and it's very interesting because you get to know, like, from this photon that is touching the solar panel, the electricity that generates. So it's very interesting, and yeah, to me, that's the most amazing part of my.
And you're a sunny girl then.
Yeah, so far. So we are just covering wind and solar. Next semester we start with hydropower and biomass. I'm also interested in the biomass.
Okay, thank you. So that was the brief information about our 4 English taught programs, and we will have the students here with us and the graduates here with us for your questions. They will be happy to answer. Let me briefly maybe talk you through the progress or process of how you can actually start to study with us. What do you need to do in order to study with us? So the main thing is that our semester usually starts on the 1st of October. We do organize, as you've seen in the previous slide, we do organize welcome weeks before actually the semester starts. So there is a service of hosting you, showing you around before you actually start to study. We only start our academic year once though. So if you want to study with us, you'd start in fall. There are some irregular programs like the foundation program where there are options to start in spring, but in general for all the regular study programs, you only start in fall. So actually now would be the time for you to get up, get all the information together and apply with us. So how do you do this? Basically, you will find the information, a lot of information for international degree seeking students specifically on our webpage, which you hopefully have seen already. If not, go check it out. There is, if you decide, once you decide to apply online, or to apply, you actually do this online. There's a portal that you log onto. You can select up to 2 programs that you would like to apply to. What you need to do is just a basic process. You upload your documents that are required for online application. That's basically your, confirmations about your previous study experience, your previous school experience, and CV, so that we actually know who you are, and so on. So that's the basic documents that you upload. Once you upload those documents, our office will receive them. They will look at your credentials and check out if you have the basic eligibility to study with us, and they will then contact you about the admission process. The admission process is basically, first of all, as I said, the eligibility check, and then on the other side, an interview, which, if possible, is held in person. So should you be in Austria, just let us know. Otherwise, it's held via Skype. So that, of course, enables our international students and applicants to apply with us without having to travel here. Once we do the interview, we try to give feedback as soon as possible, depending on, of course, the load of applications and the period in time. So basically now, as I said, is actually really the best time to apply, because the bulk of students, for some reason, decides to only apply closer to the deadline. So of course, the closer to the deadline you move, the more applications we'll have, and the longer it will take for you to organize everything and to hear back from us. So if you apply now, you should hear back within a couple of days, maximum 2 weeks. So this is that. Once you hear back from us with an acceptance letter, we will ask you for legalized documents where necessary by the Austrian Ministry. And then we will provide all the documents that you need in order to apply for your visa. And then, depending on how fast this goes, the next thing for you will be to actually come here to Austria and start Welcome Week with us and join us for studies starting 1st of October. I think so that's more or less the timeline. So recommendation would be to apply, if not now, then definitely within the first quarter of 2020. So if you apply by March, you should still have time to finalize everything well in time for the semester start in mid-September. So I think that's pretty much straightforward. Some of you ask about visa, obviously, which is an important topic. So there's two things that you need to think about. First of all, EU citizens do not require a visa to come into Austria, but if they stay in Austria more than 3 months, they need to do some paperwork. It's basically confirmation that they will be here for more than 3 months, which is pretty straightforward as well. If you are from a non-EU country, if you are a non-EU citizen, you will have to apply for a residence permit to study here in Austria, and that's for stays of more than a year or up to 1 year. This can be done either at the Austrian embassy or consulate in your home country or in your surrounding countries, depending on the service that is offered in your home country. Or if you are allowed to travel to Austria without a visa, we would actually recommend you to travel to Austria with your acceptance documents and everything, and then apply for the student residence permit once you're here in Austria. That actually fastens the process a little bit. Again, this is only possible for those who have visa-free entrance. You will find we put on the slide the address to the Austrian embassy list and consulate list, so that you know where actually the nearest Austrian authority is that you can go to apply for a visa if necessary. I think this should be the main parts about the visa. And then you might also be thinking about accommodation. Well, actually, of course, that's an important topic. Where will you stay when you study with us? There's if you want to stay in a dorm, there's dorms at all our campuses. They're pretty. They have pretty good service. They also even, if you want to, they even offer breakfast and dinner, which is very convenient, obviously, for students. And then they're just like a 10 minutes walk from campus, which is quite convenient as well. But then also a lot of our students, and specifically the older students, master students, choose to have apartments. They just share apartments between several students. So this is also something that's very common. And there's definitely help there's a service office that will help you with accommodation recommendations here at our Wels campus. Another thing that is obviously important for you is funding. Yes, we know that Austria is not a cheap country and the living expenses might be higher than in your home countries. This is the breakdown that we put on the slide, is actually recommended by our academic exchange agency and also by the ministry. So this is the breakdown that approximately you will need in Austria. So that's around 400 for accommodation, euro that is, around 250 for food. You will definitely need health insurance when you're in Austria, so this is a mandatory. And the easiest option is actually to get Austrian health insurance once you're here, and that's around 60 euros per month. So that totals to approximately 800 euros per month that you will definitely have to count with. If you want to apply for a visa, if you have to apply for a visa, you will need to prove at some point that you will actually be able to fund your stay. We do have tuition fees at our universities, and you can see on the slide that they're not huge actually compared to other institutions. So for European Union citizens or EEA citizens, we have 363 euros, 364 almost, and then it's the double amount for non-EU citizens per month. We do have scholarships that we offer to very well-performing students. So there's definitely an option to cut down on the tuition fees. Good. I think those were the hard facts, the most important hard facts, hopefully. We will talk now about student life, which is also a hard fact for you, obviously, because it's interesting for you. While we keep talking about student life, why don't you go ahead and start typing your questions if you have any. We'll be very happy to answer them in a second. So, student life. I'll just give you brief information from the university and then we'll let the experts talk. So at our university, we have a very active student union club. They are the ones organizing events on campus, excursions with the students. They are also helping out in Welcome Week, helping new students to get acquainted with campus, with the infrastructure. They're part of our Welcome Week, obviously. So that's one thing. The student union is a very active source of student life on campus. Then we have different activities that are offered either through our international office or through the study programs if it's about excursions and so on. And then, of course, the student community is quite strong. So there's a lot of stuff going on at campus. Do you have anything specific that you want to share about your experience with student life?
Well, I think we come from many different countries, so everybody has their own mind of, I would love to go to Prague, and another person, I would love to go to Vienna. So you just start to get together in a group and start traveling. So this makes knowing around easier, and yeah.
Okay, so traveling is a big part of student life?
Yes, and also, as you mentioned, the activities in the campus. And
okay.
Yeah, I would say that traveling is something really important for, I would say, most people. Actually, at least Wels is really well located for that. We are just basically in the middle of Europe, so we can go to many places quite easy. For example, I believe the trains here in Austria, they work really great, and then you can get to any other places. For example, I had experience once with a couple of friends. One of them, he has a car, so we took off in the morning, went to Germany, had a beer there, went to Czech Republic, had another beer there, and then went back to Wels in the same day. So
hopefully the driver didn't
no, the driver wasn't
drinking.
The driver wasn't drinking, but the important thing is like we just happened to have a free day and just have a really good time and saw a lot of new places. I've never been to Czech Republic. It was quite a small trip, but either way, it was important.
There's a question coming in from Nayev. He wants to know how specific is the university regarding the prerequisites at CTS. He's a civil engineer graduate and wanted to apply to the SCS program.
Okay, thank you, Nayev, for the question. That's a very good one, actually. Yes, some of our programs, specifically the master's programs, do have entrance requirements that are quantified in ECTS. This is because we want to ensure, actually we have to ensure that students studying in a master's program with us do have the required previous knowledge to be able to follow the master's program. So for example, if you have a psychology bachelor's program, you wouldn't be allowed into automotive, mechatronics, and management, obviously. So this is what the entrance requirements are for. In your specific case, to me, I'm not taking the decision, but to me, civil engineer sounds like it does have technical background that you actually need for the SCS program. If you apply, we will have a look at your application and your documents, and we will let you know in detail if it's okay or not. But I do believe that we did have civil engineers in the SCS program. I don't know, do they have any in your class right now?
No, in my class right now. No. But in my case, I'm from Mexico. We don't have ECTS. I don't know where she's from, but you do an equivalent. So, as you say, like the university will see the classes that you took in the bachelor's program, and then they will make a comparison. But for sure, civil engineer will be allowed.
Yeah, thank you also for pointing this out. Of course, not every university does have ECTS systems, so it's more to show about how much of the content in the bachelor's was in this specific content area. So you do an equivalent calculation if it's contact hours or credits or whatever you have at your university, and we will look at it when we receive your application.
I would like to add something. I think it also applies to all the other programs. At least in my case, I was a mechanical engineer. and the university required me to show all my courses and divide like mathematics courses, which mathematics courses I've taken, mechanics, electronics, and all these things. And after that, they decided that I was able to actually take the program. But I believe also for the other products, it's something really similar to that.
Yeah. Thank you.
So like in the EU program, you normally have done a Skype meeting, and there we check again your knowledge and see if it's efficient enough or sufficient enough. And if we figure out that, for example, one topic is missing, but the rest is really, really good, then we give the advice, hey, come on, you can do this one course. Also, for example, in the summer semester with the bachelor, getting this missing knowledge, or we give you already the slides so that you can learn on your own at home, so that you're then fully prepared before the semester starting. So if the topic is not too far away, normally it should be fine.
Exactly. So it's really not about counting, if it's 19 ECTS or 20, and we'll cut you off if it's 19. No, it's really just to figure out if your bachelor's program gives you the necessary foundation to be able to be successful in our master's program. And as Gustav said, there's always a Skype interview during it, which you will discuss options in case there's 2 or 3 ECTS missing. I hope this answers the question.
There's another question from Katrin. She wants to know, why did you all decide to study in Austria? Do you have any recommendations for future students?
Okay, I'll leave this to you guys.
I mean, for me, it's the most easiest thing because I am from Austria, and it's really one of the most beautiful countries I've seen. I travel around a lot. We can nearly with everything we need. We have really, really good beer. We have our own beer brewery in the university, which is something to mention. We have really great faculty members. We have 4 seasons, so it's snowing, it's summer, it's getting hot, spring, fall. So there's nearly everything. The people are friendly. It's a safe place to live. All of the social things are really great. So that's the opinion from an Austrian, but
he might be biased. What about you? You had quite a long way to come here from Colombia, from Mexico. What are your thoughts on this?
Want to start?
Well, yeah, I was here before coming to study, and also I was traveling around a lot, and to be honest, it was my favorite country also. And the people are warmer than in other places, and also the opportunities are higher, way higher than in other places of Europe. And also I was seeing, like in my country, that the pioneers of many technologies that I was interested in were coming from Austria. So I was really interested in, if you come to study here, it's easier later on that you can have also a job here. Yeah.
Okay, we have another question from Sandra. She wants to know when she can start to apply for a master.
Sandra, thank you for asking that question. You can actually start right now. If you want to open up your laptop, just go to our webpage, sign up with our online portal, and apply already today. The online portal is open, so whenever you have time, go ahead and do it. We'll be happy to receive your application.
Gerardo has a question specific to Maria. Is it necessary to have the university certificate to apply, or if I'm in the process to get it, am I allowed to?
Yes, it is necessary to have the certificate, right? I don't find any other way to apply. But if it's in the process, I don't know, when is the deadline? March or so? It should be able for March. I don't know.
So maybe I'll just jump in, because in your case it was not the question. Yes, you will need to prove some kind of university credentials, obviously. But if you are in the process of getting the certificate, any other confirmation that you have about your studies will be good for application. Of course, you will have to hand it in later, but I would recommend to just apply whatever and submit whatever you have at the moment. Don't wait for one certificate that you will receive in July, because that's going to hold up the whole process. So if you have any other kind of confirmation, I would recommend just using this, even if it's a preliminary transcript. Everything that shows your study progress will be good for now. And of course, we understand that people are, finishing up their studies. closer to our start of the study. So of course, this is not a one-off. There's a lot of students providing their documents later in summer. I hope this helps.
There is Nayev again. He wants to know if he will be able to work while studying to cover his costs. And then he wants to know also if he can work in a field related to his studies.
So in the point of view of the professors, our programs, except AMM, are all full-time study programs. Means the main focus should be on studying, and being in the university means your week will be covered by being in the university, being preparing stuff, and do a post-processing on your homework, on the laboratory work, which will keep you busy. Anyway, there are really good students who tries to work part-time at some companies. It is possible, but as I said, in most of the study programs are full-time study programs. Getting a job in the university is a thing that can happen, but it's always depending on your performance. So for the really good students, and for if we have some R&D projects running where we can give you some money, then yeah, but it's not the usual case. So
I would like to add also for the AMM program, it's also called something like dual master's program, because we are studying, but we also have the opportunity to work. It's something really unique to this program, I believe, because from the third semester up, we are supposed to do some projects in the companies, and we have the opportunity, because we never have classes on Mondays and Tuesdays, to work actually for one company, and based on that work, we can present those other assignments that we have from the university. So actually, I believe from last year promotion, basically all of the students from the program have a job in the automotive industry, which is the goal. So I will say that's really important. It's not only mandatory, but it also helps with your costs here. Me personally, right now, I'm in the process of actually finding the job for my project. So I will say that I'm quite impressed about how many opportunities there are in Austria. Definitely helps if you if you speak German. I'm on my way to that. Still don't know, but yeah, definitely there are a lot of possibilities for especially AMM students to work and study at the same time.
In my field, yeah, we are studying full time, but there's people that, of course, they are struggling with their income or whatever, so they work on the weekends. So if it's related to the visa, your question, yes, you're able, and it's possible up to 20 hours per week. The problem is that the time that you will not have, like at least the first 2 semesters will be very hard, but yeah, on the weekends it's possible to work.
And in IPM, some people also do part-time 10-20 hours with the related areas, and some students just take internships that take longer and then like do a part-time internship, and that they can also cover some of the costs.
And Emilia wants to know the dual program you were talking about, Esteban. Is this are you talking about the Automotive Mechatronics and Management degree?
Yeah, maybe I can go a little bit more in depth with that. So the Automotive Mechatronics and Management program is designed something like this. In the first semester, you have full classes all semester long. In the second semester, you also have classes, but you have free always Mondays and Tuesdays to go in a company and do a side project for the university about that. In case you don't get a job, which can happen just by timing or whatever, there are actually some companies that are requesting the university for some students to help them to do some assignments, like group assignments. Important, this part will not be paid. If this is the case, we won't be paid, but you will have the opportunity to have a hands-on experience inside a company, so that will be really important. And in the third semester, you are actually supposed to find a job in the industry and actually present what you're working on to the university. For the fourth semester and final semester, you have to do your master thesis, which has to be done in a university. Sorry, in one of the companies. I know some students have even worked like in one company, and then they move to another one, so they have the opportunity to know two work environments probably completely different. So yes, that's important. The idea is the program is designed also for you to get in touch with the companies, and maybe at the end of your program just find a stable job in one of those companies.
Okay.
I hope I answered your question.
Thank you. So while people are typing, I do think that we have some more things that we want to cover, because people keep asking this. Do you actually need to speak German before you apply with us? So no, you don't need to speak German to apply with us, but as Esteban said, of course, it will help matters if you speak German at least a little bit during your studies in order to find internships and jobs in Austria. So there's a lot of big companies here that have English as their main language, but obviously, you know, all the small talk is done in German. So German definitely helps. So while you do not need to speak it for the study program itself, because the program is completely taught in English, the ones that we have introduced, but of course for day-to-day life in the company specifically to find a job, it will make things easier if you do speak German. But again, not for application.
And Catherine wants to know what happens if fail a class.
Very important.
Yeah,
You
usually
don't have
have
experience, right?
I don't have experience because I am still here. So.
But our students have like 3 attempts to actually make it the course. So you have like 2 written exams. So if you fail the first one, you can still take the second one. And if you fail the second one, the second written exam, you have to take an oral exam in front of the committee. So usually people manage to get it done at least with a certificate if it comes to that.
Yeah.
Okay, and Sandra has another question. Is it mandatory to work in a company, or are there options to get the degree?
Well, the idea is that you get a job in the company. As far as I know, Austrian companies right now are asking for international students, international people for the companies. Although if you happen to not find a job, I believe there is always some kind of research projects going on in the university. You already mentioned that the budget here for that is quite huge. So you will then find something to do here in the university, also really valuable at least.
So if you can't find a job and you need the project to finish the study program to get the degree, we will offer you a project in some R&D. It may happen that they won't be paid depending on the R&D project, but university will be supporting you in a way that you can do a project and write your master thesis in there so that you get your final degree.
So I would just like to add that there will be plenty of support in order to find your internship. So there's all our classes are very practice oriented, and a lot of them are taught by people from companies. So actually, even while you study, you already have your network of companies building up. So you can always just contact those people that you already know in order to apply for jobs. And also our faculty members here have a very good network. So there will be plenty of support activities in order for you to find the internships or master thesis topics or whatever it is that you're looking for.
And we also have career days when a lot of companies come and present all the options that they have for students.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's a question for Emilio. He's addressing the mechanical engineer, and he's finishing his degree in mechanical engineering, and he's a little bit concerned about the difficulties, and he would like to know how was it going, yeah, in the master program.
Well, my name's Esteban again.
Just
don't worry. Well, about the difficulty, definitely. Well, first of all, one of the reasons I chose mechatronics, it's because I wanted to broaden my knowledge in this field. Right now, like one of the main focuses of the study program is about the future of mobility, e-mobility, yeah, everything you can think of from that part. So I believe we have to know more about electronics as mechanical engineers. And is it going to be hard or not? Well, definitely there are challenges that you're going to have, and I'm having right now. Something really nice about the program is that you get people from mechanical background, but also electronical background. So at the end, everybody just shows their strengths and weaknesses. I would say, like, for example, for me, the mechanical courses or the mechanical topics are, of course, easier, but you always have some other colleagues that they are basically electrical engineers or they are informatics engineers, and they can help you and you have to learn from them. And at the end, you're also teaching them somehow from what you know. So it's about building teams, it's about about cooperation. And at the end, it's all about that. It's about creating this network also. And yeah, I mean, don't be afraid about the difficulty. Of course, we're gonna find there's some things that I know that for some students are like completely easy, but for me it's like I've never heard of it. But I mean, what can I do? If I have to Google it, I will Google it and study it and learn it, and then I will catch up with them. But definitely you will be able to do it. There's no
that's problem solving.
Okay, there's a question from Giado. For the dual program, is it necessary to know German to work in the company?
It will help a lot. Now I know. Yeah, but again, don't be worried about don't be worried. Don't be scared about that. Definitely, there are many international companies, like multinational companies here in Austria, especially in Upper Austria. It's like the best place for that. I've seen so many companies around, and they will find a way to work. If they really want your profile, they will find a way to work with you. And definitely, I think it's also a great opportunity. I mean, I hope it's going to be a great opportunity for myself to also practice my German in the small talk. Like in lunch, probably people will going to speak in English or in German, but if you're in classes and stuff, you will learn it on the way, I guess.
And one thing that I didn't know when I arrived here is that we actually get German classes once a week. So, of course, it will be ideal that you learn in your home country and then you get here in a better level, because it's kind of slow once a week. But in any case, the university also supports us with the German class.
Yeah, there's another question for you, Maria. It's Naif again. He wants to know more what it's like to be an SS student. And you mentioned environmental indicators. Can you talk a bit more about that?
Yes. So we're actually caring about all the energy breaks that we get into, as I say, for simulate and design and everything. But we also take care of how is this going to impact the environment. So we get something called bioindicators. So you don't get on the way of, okay, we're making more efficient and sustainable energy resources, but also in a way that you don't affect the environment. For instance, birds, I mean, it sounds like very basic, but like on the part of the migrating birds, or, you know, all these sound effects on the trees and all this. So it kind of fits everything together when you are doing energy projects.
Okay, so
yeah, there is a question, how do I apply for a scholarship, and are grades the only requirement for that? Camilla, maybe you can answer that.
Yeah, so the main scholarship offers are merit-based scholarships. So yes, they would be, of course, focusing on the grades once you're a student here. There are cases where students receive the scholarship before they started to study with us, based on their financial situation and being a very good candidate, meaning having very good grades and experience from previous studies and internships. So once you apply and you have the internship, definitely make sure to just discuss this as well during the interviews or in the internship.
Okay, then there's another question. Does the university have German classes? Isaac is studying 1 year in his university and want to continue.
So Maria already said it. So yes, there's German classes free of charge here on campus. I think we have 6 or 7 different courses with different levels at the moment. So there will be something for you to definitely continue. Yes. Well done, actually, on the 1 year studies of German. Gut gemacht.
Yeah, and there's another message that there's a student who wants to study informatics, software, and engineering. We also do offer that. Just apply online.
Exactly. Yes, we do have informatics as well in our portfolio. However, it's not physically located at this school, but the process, everything we've been talking about, is the same. So you just apply online, and you will pop up in my informatics colleagues' inbox. Okay, and then I think there is another question that we wanted to discuss. Just maybe a brief comment for all of you before we'll be wrapping up. Do you have recommendations for future students? Things that you wish somebody told you before? Just a brief comment.
Probably that is not as hard as I thought. So basically, once you apply and then you get accepted, I mean, everything just fits together. So you find accommodation, you find I don't know, financing if you need from your home country, and yeah, it's so just there to do it if you really want to do it. And
actually, that's a very good point. Thank you for mentioning this, because there's a lot of countries that offer scholarships for master students who do a master study abroad. So I know that in Mexico there's the CONACYT scholarship program. Definitely check this out, because this is a very good option. And also I think in Colombia there's specific options.
Yeah, Colfuturo is.
Colfuturo.
I am sponsored by them. So.
Thank you, Colfuturo.
Yeah.
So make sure to also check this out. Yes,
yeah.
Thank you for pointing
I will add something there. It's like, it's not really that hard, but it's long. Just like, it's a really long process, especially for non-EU citizens. There's a lot of paperwork. You have to find many papers. You will have to spend some time on that, but at the end, it's just finding papers, like your diploma, and then to translate stuff. So don't get scared. Like at the end, I had my application for the visa was like 200 pages.
Oh my goodness.
I'm not joking. It was like 200 pages. It was like this. And at the end, it's just finding papers, but just many papers.
Yeah.
And because there were a lot of useless papers there, but still, it's just like, don't get scared about the process itself. And don't get scared about the subjects that you're going to study. At the end, if you really like the program, you're going to find a way to pass. Because it's just what you want to do.
And I will actually connect my recommendation to yours. Yes, there are documents that you need to bring and that you need to have translated or legalized. But first recommendation would be really to, if you are allowed to travel to Austria without a visa, come to Austria and do all of this in Austria. You don't have to wait to have your appointment in your home country and so on, because this is what actually takes a long time, and that kind of makes you nervous because you don't know when you get your visa. So that's the first thing. And then definitely just plan enough time, because you know, depending on if you have your documents or not, it might just take some time to get them.
Yeah, I think we can speak about for all the Latin Americans that want to come here. I believe for most of us, we can get here and then apply for it, do that. It's much easier. I know, like, we had at least one embassy in our country, but most of the other countries, there are like 3 embassies in South America. So try to do that, to come to Austria and then apply for the residence permit here.
It's definitely smarter to check everything online before and then go the easier, shorter way.
There is another question from Nayef. He was already in Austria as part of an Erasmus program, and he did his visa in his home country, and he wants to know if he can do it again in Austria. Is this still an option, or does he need to apply in his home country?
That's a tricky one, because I don't know what the current process is there. You're definitely, if you're not allowed to travel to Austria without a visa, you're definitely on the safer side if you apply at home. And if you do it like soon, you shouldn't have any problems time-wise. But in this case, I would recommend maybe checking with them, because they will be able to give you more updated information than whatever I tell you. So maybe the safer option, if you want to be safe, just check with your local authority. Okay, do you have any recommendations, maybe Christiana, for anything that you wish you would have known when you came here? I remember that you came here like...
Yeah, I guess I came from management background to an engineering school, so I think I would agree with you. So like you will manage no matter what your background is, because there's a lot of support from professors and like also from colleagues, and it's I think I wish I would knew that. I would have known that. And also I wish I would have started with German a bit earlier, because it really helps in daily life and like finding a judging, finding a job, and getting on a bus or a train, or like basic stuff. So yeah.
And actually I have to add that Christiana is fluent in German. Her German is perfect, sometimes even better than mine. So and she learned it while she came here, so it's definitely feasible for all of you. So to show you that we all can speak perfect Austrian, I wanted to ask you guys. You may have heard, you may not have heard, that Austrian is actually like a type of dialect of the German language, which is quite fun sometimes. Do you have any favorite Austrian words?
No, you can start.
Okay, my favorite is Sebas. Yeah, because like it kind of connects people, and they're always like in a fun way, in a happy way. So I'd like to say what's up or hi, or when you're passing by, Sebas.
Okay.
Well, mine will be like we talked, like genau or ja genau. Yes, exactly. For some reason, all Austrians say that a lot in German, but when they're speaking in English or whatever language, when they want to say like yes, they say ja genau, yeah, yeah.
All the time.
All the
That's true.
time. I don't know why they don't translate it, but yeah, it's quite fun. And but I mean, after you hear it the first time, you will understand.
Okay.
Or also the axo.
So.
They also don't translate that. So you see, it's you will survive with the German.
Christiana, how about you?
Schauen wir mal.
Schauen wir
Which is
mal.
like, let's wait and see. Or like,
Yeah, that's also maybe a little cultural thing,
Yeah.
because it's not only the let's wait and see, but it's really like if you're being asked a tricky question and you don't have a solution yet, the thing you would say would be schauen wir mal.
Yeah.
Meaning that you'll find a solution closer to the date or closer to the time. So it's actually a state of mind sometimes. Yeah. True. It's yours.
Whoa, there are many.
One quick.
Ahoi, bitte.
I learned that. That was the first Austrian word I learned.
So actually, they're talking about ordering a beer, a big beer. So you'll see our students are actually, and graduates are actually, I think they're doing quite well. I think we do definitely recommend our university if you're thinking about studying. If you don't have any questions anymore, we'll just wrap it up for now. This webinar will be definitely put online, the recording. We'll try to put it on YouTube and definitely on our web page. You will receive an email with a link to all the information and also a link to the application portal in case you decide to apply now. Mm-hmm. If you have any questions, if you think of anything that you need to know and you missed to ask, there is, I think on one of the slides, on the last slide, I think we do have the international at fh-wels.at email address. So this is my office. If you have any questions about this, you will actually reach me through that email address. Make sure to just answer or ask us anytime. There's also one thing that I wanted to mention. We have student ambassadors from a lot of different countries. Actually, you're on the list as well. Not yet. Not yet. But we do have student ambassadors from all over the world. So if you feel like you're unsure about something that's related to your home country or specific questions, make sure to check out the web page and contact our student ambassadors. They'll be very happy to help you.
I would like to add something there. When I applied, I got contacted by one of the students ambassadors, and she actually helped me a lot through the process. So in case you really need, in the website you will find even the names of all of us with our pictures, who we are, what language we speak, because it also helped that I was speaking Spanish with this person. So yeah, try to maybe find someone that you feel comfortable, and just there is also the email. So just contact them and they will call you or whatever.
Okay.
They will help a lot.
Yeah. And if you don't find student ambassadors from your home country, don't worry about this. Just contact us. Our office will be very happy to point you towards students and get the information that you need. So I think we're running out of time here. So that's why we would like to thank you for your attention and thank you for giving us an hour of your time and joining us here on this webinar. We hope it was useful. If you have any questions, as I said, feel free to contact us all the time. And we're looking forward to welcoming you to Wels campus hopefully soon.